Bookish Friends. It has been quite some time since you have seen my face. The month of April got away from me. I got married, then some other stuff happened, and you know, one thing after another, all of a sudden I woke up and it was May 1st and I was like, what the hell? So I haven't filmed anything bookish related. I haven't done anything on well, I've been somewhat active on Instagram lately. Nothing on TikTok because I just don't have time for it. But I'm here today with a very fun video. It is a book tag. It is the book recommendations tag created by Steph. I'm gonna link her channel below because I don't know how to say her last name and I don't want to completely butcher it. But I actually saw this tag when I was watching YouTube yesterday from Alexandra Rosalind and she did it, and I was like looking through all, like as she was talking, I was like, oh, that would be a fun idea that I can just sit down and film in one go. So we're gonna try. I got 2 dogs here today, so let's hope they don't make too much noise. So the book tag, it's basically there's 15 questions and you have to recommend 1 or 2 books, which I'm gonna probably do more in some situations, that go along with that question. So I'm not gonna waste any more time. Let's get started. But before, make sure you subscribe to my channel, like this video, and leave a comment below with your favorite book that you have ever read all time. Definitely will be talking about mine in this video. So let's get into this video. Hopefully it's not too chaotic with the 2 dogs. And I'm also sorry about this sun blob, but I gotta film when I can. So let's go. All right, the first question is a book you tell people is your favorite. I couldn't choose just one book for this because obviously I have a lot of favorite books, but I chose 3 and 1 is a series, so don't come for me. And some of these you're gonna hear in more than one question just because I love them that much and they just fit the prompt. So when people ask me my all-time favorite book ever, hold on, I need a sip of water. When people ask me what my favorite book of all time is, I always say The Sanatorium by Sarah Pierce. This actually has a second book out too called The Retreat. This one is definitely the best one. I gave this 5 stars and literally flew through this. It's about this couple that goes away to this new luxury retreat that's opening, and once they get there, shit just goes bad nonstop. And the thing I love most about this book is that it gets to a point where you're like, oh, this person did that, and then it's revealed who actually did that thing, and it's completely wrong from what you thought it was. And honestly, this just kept me on my toes the entire time. Like literally I thought I had it all figured out and I was completely wrong every time, which in a book, I love that. Not many authors can do that and can do it well as Sarah Pierce did, but I love this book. And anything she writes, I'm going to buy it 100% because she's that good. So this is the first one I would say. The next one is The Inheritance Games. And not just that book, all 3 books in this series. This is just a wild ride throughout all 3 books. And there's not one book that is better than the other. They are equally amazing. And there's actually a 4th book coming out in September, I think, that I've already pre-ordered, don't you worry. But this just follows, what's the girl's name? Avery, who gets left an inheritance of somebody that she doesn't know, and it's like millions or billions of dollars and a huge piece of property that this guy's entire family lives on. And this girl, Avery, is not related to this man at all, so she has no idea why he chose her to leave everything to. So it's just, I love these books because 1, I love all the characters and like their dynamics are just so funny and so adorable. But I like that it's a puzzle piece game. Like it's literally just one giant puzzle of trying to figure out why the hell this girl randomly got this whole estate and money. So if you want books that you're gonna binge read and not be able to leave your house until you're done, this is them. The last book I tell people is my favorite is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. And you're gonna see this in multiple questions, so just leave your comments to yourself. This book is honestly just amazing. Like this book deserves all the hype it gets. And I cannot wait to see the movie or the TV show or whatever they're doing. I heard it's going to be a limited series, kind of like Daisy Jones and the Six, but this basically is about Evelyn Hugo. She reminds me very much of Marilyn Monroe, and it goes through the 7 different husbands she's had, why she had them, and why they ended. So this book is honestly just amazing. I can't even describe it to you. You just have to read it for yourself. So this is kind of funny. So the next question is a book that is your guilty pleasure. And if you didn't know, I am doing the Barnes & Noble 2023 reading challenge, and one of the prompts was to read a graphic novel / manga, and I don't read stuff like that. Like, it's just not my vibe. But I want to complete the challenge really bad. And I follow Katie Coulson and Gabby Reese, who are like the queens of manga. And they both were talking about this one manga. So I bought it. And let me tell you, I'm obsessed. And that is Killing Stalking by Kugi. Still don't know how to pronounce that. Like I said, I'm not a manga person, but this one is just thoroughly messed up. Like, this will really be like, look up trigger warnings. If you're sensitive to certain things, don't read this. But I like this because I could read it so fast. Like, I read this in probably, you could read, if I sat down at one time and read it, it'd probably take me an hour, maybe two, if I really wanted to like look at every single picture. But I did buy the second volume of this. And the reason this is my guilty pleasure is because manga is not my thing. It really is not. Like, the picture book thing, it's just, it's not me. But with this kind of story, like, I liked it. And the graphics were really amazing. So this is my guilty pleasure read. And I will read every single book in this series. I do have the second one, which I might try to read this month. So that's that. Question number 3 is a book everyone loved, but you didn't. I have 2. This book is The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell. I also didn't like the second one. I listened to both of these on audio and I was just like, this is what I'm getting from her. There's another book that I'm going to talk about by Lisa Jewell that was like the definition of like fucked up. And I was going into this thinking this is going to be really messed up. I kind of knew it was about like a cult and something, but I don't know. This was just like boring to me. Like, I don't know, like Lisa Jewell, the first book I ever read from her was like a truly disturbing story. So when I read this, I was like, meh, whatever. So this is one that everybody loved. My sister loved this and was like, oh my God, you have to read it. So I did, and I was like, what the hell are you talking about? This isn't that great. So this is one. Next one is Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmis. I don't know, guys. This was just not for me. Like, I liked the main character, but she got so annoying about like feminism. And I'm all for it. Like, females definitely run the world, let's be real. But she was just like so annoying about it, and like that was like her whole personality trait. Like, you can be like that, but also have another personality separate from that. And she just didn't have that, and I feel like she was just whiny and just annoying. And I also listened to this on audio. I got pretty far through this. And at one point I was like, all right, I cannot take this anymore. Like, she's driving me bonkers. So, sorry, I didn't like this one. I will probably never read from this author again, I don't know. Number 4, a book you read the fastest. This was probably one of the easiest prompts for me because I read books somewhat fast, like faster than a normal human being, but not as fast as some booktubers do. But this book, I read in an entire day. I think it took me 8 hours to finish this, and that was with me like watching a movie, making dinner, making food, doing this, doing that. But that book is Verity by Colleen Hoover. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because I'm sure you already know what this is about, but this, literally the second you start it, you are like, okay, I'm canceling all plans, I'm calling out of work, I'm doing everything because I need to read this and finish and see what the hell is going on. So this was the quickest book I've ever read in my life, like hands down. So quick. Throw this in here because I also binged this series and I already talked about it, but this is The Inheritance Game. I read the first book in like 2 days and then challenged myself to finish it in a weekend, and I did. Because once you start, you can't stop. So I read pretty much all 3 of these books in like, I think a 4-day span, which is rare for me. I literally was like, to my husband, I was like, don't talk to me. Don't ask me to do anything. Don't ask me to go anywhere because I'm sitting and reading these. And I did just that. So the next one is a book that deserves more hype. I have 2 books for this. The first book is Killers of a Certain Age by Deanna Raybourn. I love this. Like, this was a 5-star read for me. And I bought this when I was down doing an overnight for a work trip. I started it because I forgot the book that I was currently reading. So I started this, and I think I literally finished this within like a 24-hour span, maybe 2 days at most. But this was just so good. Like, you're following a group of retired assassins, and they decide to take a retirement trip. And once they get there, they realize something's off. They start going back into being assassins, and it is just amazing. Like, the banter between this group of like older females is just hilarious. So it's like, you get the mystery part, but then you also get the humor part, and I want to be friends with this group of women because they're freaking hilarious. But this is a book that definitely deserves more hype than it gets. I know Deanna Raybourn is known for her Speedwell series, Veronica Speedwell series, which I eventually plan to read, but this was amazing. So this makes me excited to read that series. The next book that I think deserves more hype is actually Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. Like I said, this was the first Lisa Jewell book I wrote, Jesus Christ. This is the first Lisa Jewell book I read, and this is the Lisa Jewell that I like. This book was so messed up. Like, literally I was reading it and I was like, what the hell am I reading? My mom, who 10 years ago, her daughter went missing, and then something happens and opens up this case, and then, I probably shouldn't say that, but you kind of figure out where she went, what happened to her, and whatnot, and you're kind of following this mom's perspective. But this is a wild, wild ride. Like, this is the Lisa Jewell I love. So when I read The Family Upstairs, I was like, what the fuck? That's not who I read before. No. But if you haven't read this Lisa Jewell book, go to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, wherever you buy your books, and get this book and read it and let me know what you think, because you will be thanking me. So that's a book. This book definitely deserves more hype than it gets. Right, number 6. This one was easy. I think we know the 2 books that I'm going to talk about the second I say the question. The question is a book that's becoming a movie or a TV show. I have some drama. So let's talk about the quick one, because I already talked about this. The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Like I said, it's either going to be a movie or a limited series, I'm not sure, but I legitimately cannot wait to watch this. I'm hoping that whoever does the casting, I gotta figure out the actor's name. Okay. I'm hoping whoever does the casting has Kate Winslet as Evelyn Hugo, like, telling her story when she's older, because that's just who I picture as Evelyn Hugo. Like, just this beautiful, classic, timeless, like, woman who, I love Kate Winslet. But I'm hoping that's who plays Evelyn Hugo, because I think that would be legit perfect. I'm so excited for this. They better do it justice, because this book deserves the most perfect show ever. So that's that. I don't think I'm the only one with the same feelings about this book being made into a movie, or I think it's a movie. But that is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. How deep do I want to dig? I don't like Blake Lively for this part. Like, along with everybody else in the world that has read this book, that is not who I picture as Lily. Like, especially with these outfits, like, I don't fucking know. I've been seeing everybody like post about like her filming and like the outfit she's wearing, and it's not Lily. Like, she looks like a homeless female. Like, I just don't get it. Like, did Colleen Hoover have any say in this or what? I know she wanted Blake Lively as Lily, but I feel like they could have done it so much better, where she's got like these cute little outfits, she's classic, she looks young, blah, blah, blah. But I'm gonna watch it because I want to see, but what I was thinking and what I'm getting are 2 different things, and I'm not too happy about it, but not my call to make. But excited to watch this. Okay, this one's gonna be quick because I haven't done this. It's number 7 is a book that you have reread the most. Believe it or not, I have literally never reread a book. So done with that, quick and easy. All right, number 8. A book from a genre you typically don't read. I am not like a nonfiction girly because I just get bored. I like listening to like, true crime, but not that often anymore, because I'm just like, I want to escape reality. I don't want to like hear about it and hear about all the bad shit that's happening in the world. But I did read 1 nonfiction book so far this year, and I absolutely loved it, and I feel like everybody else that has read it has loved it, and that's I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. This is basically a memoir about her upbringing and her issues with her mom. It's kind of like a mental abuse, not so much physical, but this follows her and her journey with her mom. It's amazing. It's heartbreaking, and it's very sad. So I listened to the audiobook, and I actually really like doing it that way because it's Jeanette herself like narrating it, so I love that. But this is a book from a genre that I don't typically read. Oh, here comes Louie. All right, number 9 is a book that deserves all the hype it gets. I didn't go with probably like the basic books that you would think I would, but I have a book series for this one, and then I have another book. And the first one I chose is the Finley Donovan series. The first one is Finley Donovan is Killing It. Finley Donovan Knocks Him Dead, and then Finley Donovan Jumps the Gun. These books are so good. It's a cozy mystery, and there's nothing I love more in this world than Finley and Vero's friendship. Like, I just love it. They're like 2 peas in a pod. They're so funny, but they also are so loyal to each other, and it just makes the series so amazing. But some people, I will say, the 3rd book in the series was not the best. The first 2, though, were amazing. It's been talked about everywhere in the book community, and honestly, it does deserve all the hype it gets because it is that good. It is so good. I think I gave the first 2 books 5 stars, and then this one 3. And there is going to be more books in the series, and I will definitely buy them. But I don't know if anything's gonna beat these first two. I like the second one more than I like the first one, but they're all amazing. Next is a book that nobody has talked about in a long time, but it's amazing, and that is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I love this book. I read this, I don't even know, maybe, oh, there's a bookmark. I read this probably 2 years ago at this point, and I still think about this book like very often, which means that it clearly left an impression on my mind. But I love this story. It's kind of like, I don't even know how you would describe this book. It's kind of like fantasy, romance, fiction, I don't know, but it's basically about making a deal with the devil, dealing with the consequences. There's a love story, and it's just amazing. This is like a heartwarming book. I love this book so much. So this is one that, what is my question? So this one is definitely one that deserves every single ounce of hype it gets. All right, we are flying through this. All right, so number 10 is a book you usually recommend when asked for a recommendation. Obviously, I always go with The Sanatorium by Sarah Pierce. You guys already heard my spiel. I'm not going to talk about it, but this is like one book that if anybody ever asks me for a recommendation, I'm like, Sanatorium by Sarah Pierce. You're welcome. So that's number 1. Number 2 is anything by Lucinda Berry, but specifically The Perfect Child. This was a wild, wild time. Lucinda Berry, I think, is a psychiatrist who left her practice to write books about like trauma, like specifically child trauma. I don't know if she uses like her real life experience in her books, but she must, because she gets to the nitty gritty detail of these crazy kids. It's insane. I have 3 more books of hers that I need to read, but this is one that I'm like, if you want something that's totally gonna screw with your head and make you stay awake at night, anything Lucinda Berry and this book. One is kind of random, but this is one that like, I recommend it to a specific crowd. Actually, that's a lie. I will literally recommend this book to anybody. And that is Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I don't know what it is about this book, but I love this book so much. I know there was a lot of drama surrounding this book, but you know what? Take that away and this is a great book. Go away! It's about Carrie Soto, who is one of the world's best tennis players, and she comes out of retirement because somebody is about to beat her record. And I love Carrie Soto because she doesn't hold back. She says what she thinks, and she just doesn't care what anybody thinks about her either. And I love that. I don't know much about tennis, but I want to learn because of this book specifically. So this is one that when somebody needs a recommendation and they want like a light, fun, kind of like literary fiction read, this is the one I go to. All right, number 11 is a book that has your favorite characters. One of the books I do not have because I was kindly gifted a copy through NetGalley, and that is Through Smoke and Sand by Cory Hathaway. And this is about Lexi. I think I like this book specifically and this character specifically because we have the same name. It's basically like a fairy godmother in training, and there's this very cool like magical world in here where they go to this house and it's just very magical. There's a little bit of a love interest, and Lexi, the main character, is neurodivergent, which means that she's kind of a little awkward. She doesn't really have a filter. Whatever comes to her mind, she just says, and she just gives no fucks really. But she also does, like, deep down when she does something that she regrets, it like really eats away at her, and I just love her. Like, she's just like the sweetest human being ever. I'm talking about her as she's real. But I will post a picture of the thing here somewhere. I just loved her. Like, there was something about her, like, she wanted so hard to make it in the world of fairy godmothers, and like there was little things that she couldn't do that like really frustrated her, but she also relied on her friends and the fairy godmother teachers to kind of help her through, and I just loved her. She just seems like the sweetest person ever. Another book series where I love the characters is Daughter of the Moon Goddess. There's something about this main character in here that just, she's so sweet and innocent, but also such a badass. Like, I just love her, and I love her relationship with the love interest in this book. I love how hard she's fighting for her mother's freedom, and I just love everything about her. Like, she just seems like the kindest soul, and somebody that, like, if you are in her inner circle, she will do whatever she can to protect you and make sure you're happy. So this is another book series where I love, love, love the main characters, and they are some of my favorite characters ever. Next is number 12, A Book You Wish You Could Live In. I'm gonna say it again, even though I just used it for my last prompt. I should fix this strand of hair. A book that I wish I could live in is definitely Through Smoke and Sand by Cory Hathaway again. I don't know, like, in my mind, I guess I was picturing like the fairy godmother from Shrek, and it just seems so magical and cozy and comfy and like warm and sweet in there. I don't even know. My camera just cut me off. I don't know what that was about, but I don't know if that makes any sense, but this is just a world that, like, from the second I started reading, I was like, wherever this place is, I want to go there, because it just seems so charming and magical and sweet, and just like the people around you care about you. Like, what more could you ask for? So that is definitely a book that I would love to live in. All right, a book you thought you would hate but ended up loving. I have two. Talk about the first one. So my cousin actually was like into reading way before. Why do I keep doing that? My cousin was into reading way before I was, and she told me to read this book, and so did my aunt, and I was like, nah, I don't think I'm gonna like it. Like, I don't think that's really my vibe. And then I really got into reading, and I finally took the jump and read it. And I've talked about this book already, so you're gonna be like, Lexi, shut the fuck up about this book. But that is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. When I first started reading, I was really only into like thrillers and murder mysteries, so something like this was like, no, I'm good. I don't need to waste my time reading that. But this is one that obviously I read and ended up absolutely loving. And then the next book is The Hacienda by Isabel Canas. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I'm not really into like Mexican Gothic type stuff. Like, it's just not really my vibe. But I listened to the audiobook of this and absolutely loved it. Like, this, not many books can like really scare me and like make me feel spooked, but this one was spooky. Like, the whole atmosphere and like the vibe of this place. This is a place I would not want to live in. Like, I would never want to live in this house that this woman lives in. But this is one that I didn't think I was gonna like, but ended up absolutely loving. And I can't wait to read more from this author. All right, number 14, a book that made you cry. I also have two for this. I don't have, I think I loaned it out to my mother-in-law, so I gotta check on that, but it's A Quiet Life by Ethan Joella. This book was so heartbreaking. Oh my God. It's about this man who, his wife just died, and they usually do an annual trip to, I think, Myrtle Beach or something like that. And he's kind of just going through the day-to-day motions of losing his wife, and like kind of figuring out how to live his life without her, because she's been around for so long. So it was just sad. It's so sad, but like also so happy at the same time. Like, the ending, I was sobbing because he like got his happy ending, and it was like all encompassing, and in the end, like, you felt good. You almost like felt good leaving him, because you're like, all right, he's good, he's taken care of, he's happy, he's where he wants to be. But it's just, oh, that man broke my heart. He's somebody I would love to see in person and give a hug. But the last one, this is also a book I read years ago, and I still think about this all the time, but that is The First Phone Call from Heaven by Mitchell Bloom. This book is also so sad. Like, I want to reread this because it's been so long since I read this, but it's basically about this man who loses his wife in some sort of tragic accident, and I don't know how long it expands when he gets this phone call, but he essentially, at some point later in time when she's gone, gets a phone call, and it's her voice, it's her talking to him, and these phone calls just keep happening, and he's like, what the hell, how are you calling me? Like, you're not here anymore, you're in heaven. And I forget how it ends. I should reread this. It's very short, but like also like a strange, like, this is a regular paperback, so it's a strange size, and I think it's only like, it's a little over 300 pages, but I remember this being so good that I couldn't stop reading it. So, but this one made me sob my eyes out. Like, the end, I was like, oh, that's kind of mean, but also kind of cute. But just seeing how much this man like loves and misses his wife is just heartbreaking, and this made me drop a couple tears. So we're on to the last question already. This is good. So number 15 and the last question is a book you wish you could read for the first time again. So I just read The Housemaid and The Housemaid's Secret, and they were probably going to be like my top 2 books of the year. Like, those both were so good, and I wish I could reread those for the first time again. Like, my sister, I bought her those books, and I was like, please read these, like, you're gonna absolutely love it. And I'm jealous that she gets to read it for the first time and like hear the story for the first time. Like, I'm jealous. I want to do that for myself. So that is definitely a book. 2 books, I'm gonna put them up here. 2 books that I wish I could reread again for the first time. They were just like thrilling, like the entire time. Like, there's no bullshit in those books. Like, it's literally, okay, here's the story, this is what's happening, this is how we get to this point, and there you go, there's the ending. And the plot twists are just, whew, I've never been so mind blown from a book. But yeah, so that is, let me show you the mess that is my reading room right now from all these books I pulled out. So these are all the books I just talked about, and some. Just craziness. That was a lot of fun. I love talking about books because, one, I obviously love books, but there's a lot of books in here that I didn't read this year, and like I read either a year or 2 ago, so it's nice to give them some love again and get them off my shelves. But if you do this tag, make sure you tag me. I want to see what your favorite books are of the year, so comment your favorite book of all time, not just this year, all time, in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and click the bell so you're always notified when I post a video. And yeah, thank you for watching.